Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the persuasive structure of a popular online health guide called the Vertigo and Dizziness Program. We're going to look at exactly how it builds its case, from a very personal story all the way to its proposed solution. So, right off the bat, the program doesn't open with science or statistics. Instead, it drops us right into a dramatic personal story. This one sentence immediately puts you in a moment of crisis. Then we get introduced to a character, her name's Wendy, and the source just layers on all these sensory details to paint a really vivid picture of her distress. This makes it clear this isn't some abstract problem, it's happening to a real person. And this moment right here, this is all about establishing immediate physical danger. The fall suddenly makes the condition feel less like a minor inconvenience and more like a direct threat to your safety. Okay, so let's dig into this strategy. The source is grounding its entire argument in this one really frightening event. And here's where it gets really powerful. The source brings in this huge emotional component. It's not just Wendy's crisis anymore. Now we see her grandson's reaction, which makes the whole situation way more relatable and hits a lot harder. The program then builds on this by giving us Wendy's backstory. We see she's been suffering for years, trying treatments that didn't work, and her quality of life has just been going downhill. This does two things. First, it builds a ton of empathy for Wendy, and second, it starts planting these little seeds of doubt about the conventional medical system. So once they have you emotionally invested, the source makes this really jarring pivot. This statement is super confrontational, and it's designed to grab your attention and challenge everything you think you know about vertigo. And then the program just completely reframes the condition. It's not just about being dizzy anymore. According to this source, it's the #1 cause of broken bones in people over 55, and, maybe most alarmingly, it's a potential warning sign for a stroke. The stakes just got a whole lot higher. This new, much scarier risk becomes the launching pad for the program's next big move, a direct challenge to the medical establishment itself. I mean, that is a really bold, sweeping claim. The source is basically arguing that the entire medical profession can't treat vertigo because, as it alleges, they don't even get what the real cause is. To hammer this point home, it lists a bunch of common medical diagnoses for vertigo, but the program presents these not as answers, but as proof of the medical system's confusion. It argues these things are just associated with vertigo, not the root cause. The argument then shifts into deconstruction mode. The goal now is to dismantle 3 ideas that it labels as serious myths about vertigo. First on the chopping block is the idea that vertigo is just a normal, unavoidable part of getting older. The program fires back by framing it as a solvable problem that's caused by a specific underlying factor, offering this ray of hope that it can be fixed no matter how old you are. Next up, it tackles the idea that diseases like Ménière's are what cause vertigo. The source uses this analogy of a dog chasing its tail, basically painting the medical logic as this circular argument that just leaves patients stuck with no real solution. The final myth they target is that medication is the answer. And here, the strategy is pretty simple. Just list all the common side effects. It paints a picture of treatments that aren't just ineffective, but might actually make you feel even worse. And this all leads to the big rhetorical climax. The source points out what it frames as the ultimate irony. The single most common side effect of vertigo medication is dizziness itself, the very thing it's supposed to be fixing. So after trying to systematically discredit all the conventional approaches, the source finally pivots to present its own alternative solution. Now, the crucial point here is what the solution isn't. It's not a drug, it's not surgery, and it's not some complicated therapy. Instead, it's just a set of simple head exercises, which are presented as being all natural, fast-acting, and effective for pretty much everyone, no matter what their official diagnosis is. But you have to wonder, right, how can a few simple movements possibly fix such a complex and debilitating problem? Well, let's take a look at the mechanism it proposes. The program offers a 3-part theory for how this all works. First, it claims that loosening your neck muscles improves blood flow to the brain. Second, that exercising your jaw helps the lymph system drain fluid and toxins from your inner ear. And third, that the exercises correct your head posture so that your body's different balance signals finally start to agree with each other. So in deconstructing this program, we've seen a really clear persuasive strategy. It starts with an emotional crisis, moves through a critique of established medicine, and then unveils a simple, natural cure. This whole structure really leaves us with a critical question to think about. How do we evaluate these kinds of health narratives?